This is Jonathan St. James, and you're listening to The Truth is Still Straight podcast. All right, folks, this is The Truth is Still Straight podcast, and I am Jonathan St. James once again. Don't get jealous, Sister Millie from the West Coast. Don't be jealous. Yeah, don't be jealous, Sister Millie. All right, folks. I'm going to get into this real fast. Shout out to all those who watch, subscribe, whatever you're doing, supporting the show. I appreciate it. And those people are Pedro Falcone, Tatiana Cruz, Lee Jones, Tessie, Sister Millie from the West Coast, V, Mr. Wilkes, Mahir, Milton Gonzalez, Beverly George, Snotty, Reggie, Courtney, K-Law, RJ, Latoya, Shelia, Michael Thomas, Darrell, Big G, Galloway, Sam T, James Wilson, Tyrone Biggs, Terrence Meir, JD Whitelaw, Julian Flournoy, Kid Vegas 8402, Eric Jordan, Michael McCreary, Kenny Alpha, Jario, Kane Major, Kundalini Lee, Marcus A. Morris, Heath, 313 Money Team, Still Sharp and Stills, Stefan Plug 2, Chaos Angel, Thomas Ford, Tashawn Howell, Steve Strode, Marvin Banks, Anthony Perry, Nelson Fu, Luke Afsaf, Be Minded, TM Rowland, Flavor Sweet, Eric Jordan, Glenn Isaac, MGTOW Griffin, Soapbox Willie, Steve Opoku, Brian Lindemann, JoJo A Go-Go, Big K 3695, and Gary Leonard. Thanks for your support. All right, folks, I'm going to get right into it now. I'm here. You know who's here? Kevin Samuels. And that episode is from, let's go back. Let's check it out. This is going to be from an episode last year. I believe it is July. It is July 6, 2021 from Who Matters clip. Once again, if you want to check that out, it's on Instagram Live, Kevin Samuels page. And without further ado, we're going to get right into it and hope you enjoy this episode.
Your car, your this, your that. Scrap, remove that from the conversation. That only matters. Hold on. That only matters to men after we like what we see and after we like what we feel from you. That's it. So,
Kid alert.
Hold on. That only likes your PhDs and all that stuff matters after we like what we see and how we feel. Other than that, it's invisible. Hello? You're walking around, so I'll wait till you get in the light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have my son, so I'm trying to get away from him. So
okay.
Hello.
So okay. Hello, Howard. How are you?
Hi, I'm good.
How old are you?
I'm 32 years old. I'll be 33 next month.
33 next month.
Pretty privileged and all the traumas that women apparently deal with at their average or something. I don't get it. But go ahead.
You broke up, Kevin. That's what she can tell you.
You were breaking up. I couldn't hear you.
Mm-hmm.
So we're discussing pretty privilege and the reality that many women are having to face today, that pretty privilege exists and where they rank and what they can expect to get.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is like the reality of the world right now. A lot of guys, they do go after how you look. But like the other girl stated when she was just on here, it does not maintain the relationship. You have to have more than just your looks, because looks will eventually fade. So.
Who told you that?
That your looks will eventually fade?
Well, you said unfortunately that's the reality of the world today. Meaning what?
Meaning that men, they look at how you look. A lot of times when guys approach a woman is because of the physical attraction.
When have men never looked at how a woman looks?
When have men have ever looked at how a woman looks?
When have men ever picked women on a different level?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
You said, unfortunately, men today look at how a woman looks as if men are different today than they used to be. When did men not care about a woman's looks?
Right.
Oh, I can't answer that question. I don't know.
The answer is never. Because men always look at how women look. So we know that for a fact. the thing here is, can they get the women that they look at and they find attractive? That's really what the issue is. And then once you have the availability of women to men, then they kind of go scale down the looks and try to find somebody that's more ideal for them. Average. I'll use that word for now.
So why'd you say unfortunately today?
Because this is the world I live in today. It's what I've been experiencing.
But what are you
today.
comparing it to? But you said unfortunately today, comparing it to what?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't really comparing it to anything. I was just saying today, based on my experiences, women.
So yeah, let's say this. Unfortunately, bears eat salmon because that's just the nature of bears today.
Mm-hmm.
That would say that there was a time where bears didn't eat salmon, and then you're saying, oh no, bears have always eaten salmon.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not unfortunate. Men have always looked at a woman's looks. It's not unfortunate. Okay. Let's flip it. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, today, women look at the amount of money a man can make and how productive he is to evaluate what kind of man he is. That's mm-hmm. unfortunate because everybody gets old and everybody got hard times and things happen. You're going to start looking for a man that's not producing?
Nope.
No.
Exactly.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing with you. I understand what you're saying. Maybe my word, unfortunately, kind of threw off what my point was. But.
I think the point was that men shouldn't be picking women based on their looks.
I wouldn't say that because me as a woman, I definitely do want a guy that's successful. So I think everyone is entitled to decide what they want, what's of value for them.
Should a man choose a woman based on her looks?
That's okay. That's okay.
I said, should he?
Yes, I think that's okay because when I date a guy,
should a man judge a woman based upon her physique?
I think there's more to people than how they look. But I think initially that's probably what's going to.
Were you raised by your mother and father? Were you raised by your mother and father, or just your mother?
I was raised by my mother, and my stepdad came into my life when I was 8. So my father was never there.
Okay.
Nope.
Sounds to me like you don't understand men.
I don't. I've been trying. Well,
stop trying to make men women. That's one of the biggest problems today. You guys try to make us you. Mm-hmm. We judge you based upon your looks and your physique. Accept it. We accept that we are success objects, so you need to accept that you're sex objects.
Oh my.
Yeah, I want to just stop it there real fast. Yeah, and that's what happens a lot of times when women describe what kind of man that they like. They also describe it the same way that a man should like a woman. But the reality is, if a lot of women are looking for provider males, what is the point of you having money and you having all these credentials to be more attracted to a man in a relationship? If you're looking for somebody that's going to be the provider and provide for majority of the bills, then what would that do for him that you have money to save your own money for yourself? And that's what a lot of women say when they say those things. They're like, well, I'm going to use my money just in case it doesn't work out. And then they can have something to fall back on.
Aha.
Well, let's continue.
Sad, but I hear you.
Why is that sad?
Because it's something that's difficult to accept. It is. It's very difficult for me to accept it.
Then your mother failed you. That's why it's difficult to accept, because you were raised wrong.
Probably.
Blame your mama. Because your mother and other generation, you chewing gum?
Yeah, she is.
I am chewing gum.
You got a bonnet. You got a bonnet back there too.
I just took my bonnet off.
So. I bet you do, but you still got that damn smoke detector going on. Goddamn. Single woman starter kit.
Yeah.
All right. Blame your mama.
Stop.
Blame your mama. Because that's how men are. And today, so many women like you are sitting here waving your sanctimonious finger at men like we're wrong when your mama was wrong. Your mama should have told you, girl, get your ass in the gym.
Oh, no, he didn't. Miss Peaches?
Yeah. So here's the thing with that. And it's true. I think what happens in relationships when it comes from parent to child is parents improperly prepare young people for relationships. So, of course, you know, people always say what they want men to be, but women, a lot of times they're told they should be this successful, educated, independent woman, and that a man should just accept that. Now, here's the thing. So a lot of men will accept that. There are a lot of men out there that who can't get women on their own, so they're going to be accepting of whatever a woman has to offer. But these women who like these guys that are high value, as Kevin Samuels puts it, he's not going to go for that because he can pick from a big pool of women. And that's where the difficulty lies. They want the men that don't want them, and the men that want them, they're not interested in.
Stay fit and be pretty, because that's what men do. That ain't what she told you, was it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't really have these conversations with my mom, to be
Then
honest.
your mama failed you.
Told you.
Yeah, but I learned it on my own. Dating, making my own mistakes.
But your mom should have told you this.
Come on, Kevin.
But your mama
I agree, but
didn't have no daddy in the house, so she was a single woman, living like a single woman mindset until your stepfather come on. So, stop saying how we are at cross purposes, and you came in talking about men as if something was wrong with us, and the problem with you and your mama and the women of your generation and your family. Your mothers and your women didn't tell you that this is how men are, so you think we're wrong. Okay, well, then you ever ask yourself, as a black woman, because I've heard many black women say, I don't see why them white girls starve themselves like that. Why they in the gym and doing all this and doing that and da-da-da-da-da-da? Because their men like women who are fit.
Agreed.
Okay, so
Agreed.
let's back it back. You're 32?
Yes, 32 years old.
How old is your child?
35.
He's 5.
Oh, wow.
And you and the father aren't married?
Nope, he's not even a part of his life. By
Do
his choice.
Do you want to be married one day?
Yes, absolutely.
Do you want more children?
Oh.
I do. Maybe 1 or 2.
What?
How tall are you?
5'2".
Dress size?
300. No, I'm just kidding.
I wear a size 4, I think. 4 now.
Oh, that's just small.
How much you weighed the last time you weighed yourself?
136.
36. Okay. You got a kind of a fuller face then, I guess.
Yeah, but there you go.
Okay. I just said a fuller face. So the fact of the matter is, how men judge women is based upon your looks, your physique, and then if you have kids. Now, do you accept the fact that having a child out of wedlock negatively impacts your sexual marketplace value?
I can tell you she does.
Yeah, I have.
What?
It took me a while to kind of like see that, but now that I've been dating and having such a difficult time dating, I'm like, I can see it. Yeah. But I also want to ask a question. It's kind of like deviating from.
But before we do.
All right, it's off topic, but this lady, I'm gonna tell you what's bothering me with her.
You gotta bob and weave, bob and use your weave.
So I'm being petty. I know, forgive me, folks, but that left side, your right side of her hair is just killing me. Like, what is going on? It's like one side is out, the other side is in. She really didn't get herself together before she came on Kevin Samuels. I know you tried her best, but it just didn't work out. All right, that's here nor there. Let's continue.
Do that. You got to get back to that, but I'm going to ask this question. You said it took you a while to get around that. The women in your family didn't tell you having a child is going to make it harder to get married?
No, don't lie.
My mom did tell me to marry before having a child, but she,
Okay.
like I said, we don't have that relationship where she talks to me in that way.
Okay.
I'm from Jamaica, so I was raised a little bit different with tough love.
Yeah,
we
but
never really had those
I think every
conversations.
group of women tell the women to get married before you have a kid. So I don't understand why women seem to be so shocked that you can love your kid and your kid can be number one and well behaved and well mannered, but it's still a liability to men. But your question was going to be what?
I was having this conversation with my sister, and I tend to add value to myself because I am educated and I have my life together as far as like my finances. But we were having this debate where she's saying that men of high value don't really care if a woman have, their finances together and stuff. So I wanted to know your thoughts on that.
Well, first of all, you ain't got your weed together. I'm just saying, but no, that is true. Men, high value men, don't value that in you because they have it themselves in terms of finances. And you don't have to get an education to be educated. There's a lot of women who went to high school and just got a high school diploma. Very smart. And then I know some people who've graduated college, got a bachelor's, master's, and so forth. And you're like, what? Who gave you that degree? But let's hear what else she has to say.
We don't care initially. That's not the first thing we look at. You said you add value to yourself. Where would you rank your femininity?
I'm working on it. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm a very
So what would you rank it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Right now,
a 4.
Maybe average. I'm getting
Average
better
who?
at it.
Average who? Average for who? A black
Like
woman? Average for an Asian? Average for who? An Asian woman? A Middle Eastern woman? A Hispanic woman? Average for who?
Maybe myself, I guess. I don't know.
Average for what race of women? Come on, what average for yourself? You know what feminine is. Where is average? See, that's a different average.
Like I dress feminine. I carry myself very feminine. I'm very feminine.
Look,
but
I say your femininity, not your look. Your femininity.
Mm-hmm. Like how submissive I am.
Well, that comes next. But
yeah, I'm working on that. I'm
okay.
That was
so the main thing. Okay, the main things we want, men of value on is cooperation, submissiveness, and agreeableness, femininity. So I think it's funny that you said you add value to yourself. No, you're adding value for what you look for in a man, not what men look for in a woman.
Right.
You were raised to think like a man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got that before.
Well, then don't be surprised that you can't find the kind of men you think that you match with. Because if I'm asking you where your femininity ranks at 30 something, and you can't even, you're telling me average for whom?
Right.
What college would you go to, a HBCU or a PWI?
I actually went.
And of course, that is historically black college and universities, and PWI is predominantly white institution, just in case.
To community college.
Right.
I got my associates and I got my master's. I mean, my doctorate, my bachelor's from there, and I'm now working on my master's in.
I'm a PhD.
College is just the online college.
Okay, you have a bachelor's in what?
Nursing. I'm a registered nurse.
All right. One of the professions that high value men tend to avoid, nurses.
Yep, I'm a nurse, and I'm going to school to get my master's in psychiatric mental health to be a nurse practitioner. So.
And I can tell you how many psychiatrists and how many actual psychiatrists and psychologists who are doctors who are females would tell you this is the worst thing you could do.
Really?
Trust me, I know lots of them. And every time one of y'all pop up, they say, "Oh my God, give her my number." I should tell you, yeah, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. Yeah. And men don't want to date no psych. I mean, okay. Bottom line is this, but here's the difference. All that stuff is for who?
You mean the degree and stuff for me?
Yeah, of course. Well, then that's what you're going to have is you and your kid by yourself. That's what you're going to have, you and your kid by yourself. You're not, because the things that men want, you say I'm working on it, but you're proud to talk about I got my finances in order and I got my degree. Yeah, we don't care about that. And she said,
Hold on a
matter,
second.
matter of fact, this is Ivy League graduate psychiatrist,
Okay, hold on.
female, and she's beautiful. And she said, tell him to run. Tell her to save herself. Pro-black woman.
Ooh.
I'm not going to tell so I'm telling you, look, you ladies need to understand that. I mean, you haven't been combative or argumentative, but you were raised to be a modern woman.
Yeah.
And the thing is, if I put you in the room with the kind of men you think you match up with, see, the reality is this pretty privilege thing is not so much about looks as it is about class, social class. Women like you want men in a certain social class and an income bracket. And the thing is, those men tend to want women who are traditional, leaning, even if they weren't raised traditional. So to have your femininity in question is to have a low value for these men. Case in point, if there's a dinner party and the guys over here having a discussion about politics or mental health or whatever, and the women are over here talking about whatever they're talking about, you'd probably want to be over here with the guys. True or false?
Probably true.
Put your dick up. So I said, your mothers failed you in the sense that they didn't tell you who men are, what we're like, that we are right, and we're supposed to judge you based upon your looks and your physique. No, now we call that chauvinistic and patriarchal and toxic. That's why men are saying French toast this. You can't try to criminalize men. That's why men don't even approach women. The birth rates are dropping because men aren't even approaching women like that anymore.
Yeah.
And then you say I added value by having my finances. Those things would be valuable after you have your feminine, friendly, cooperative, submissive, feminine thing going. But the man has to pick you first.
That's true.
So
yeah, I have heard that before. I've heard that before, and I've been trying to work on, being as submissive as I can, because I am very
aggressive.
Are you in a relationship?
I was in a relationship with my son's dad for 4 years, and then I was in another relationship for 2 years.
Okay.
But I have not been in a
Why didn't you and your child's father marry?
To be honest, I think it's on my end as well, and his end. I don't think he was ready, and I was very aggressive. I didn't know how to.
So you didn't
I can
marry
see
because what?
He didn't want to. He didn't want
You
to,
stupid.
and we weren't a good match. We had a lot of disagreements.
Okay. But you got to know what my next question is going to be. Then
Why you had a
make
kid?
baby?
Why you had a kid?
Yep.
Your child is how old? 5? Oh, hope you're prepared to sit out of marriage for the next 13 years.
So here's the thing, though. I don't know. Sometimes Kevin lets the math slip by. So she says she was with her boyfriend for so many years. They had a kid. He let her get away with that because she clearly was with him before she got pregnant. But if she was having all those problems, when did the problem with their relationship occur? Did it occur when they were first in the relationship, or did it occur after the child was born? Because she says she was with her boyfriend for 2 years or something like that, the current one. So clearly, for a lot of that, a good portion of that time when her son was born, she was with the second boyfriend. So let's just say I don't know. Please correct me in the comment section if I'm hearing it wrong. But if the son is 5 now, she says she was with the last guy for 2 years. So that means that the son was 3 when she got together. And if she was with the previous boyfriend for 5 years, I think she said, or something like that, then let's say 5 years. I don't really remember. I want to say I heard her say 5 years, 4, whatever, which meant that she was with the father of the child before the baby born a good time. So when did you realize he was these things? And if that's the case, then why have a kid with him? I'm just saying, I hear this a lot on these shows where they say these things. And I'm just, why do you get to the point of having a kid if you know the person is not healthy for you? I'm just not understanding.
I'm going to try my best, but I don't want to be not married.
Okay. But the reality is, ma'am, the man you chose to have a baby with, it was a choice.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't even get it together with him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to marry you, or you were too masculine, combative, aggressive to be married.
I was too masculine, combative, and aggressive to be married.
I can believe.
And that's the man you gave the highest honor a woman can give to a man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Every man who comes after will get leftovers. Your womb is used.
Mm-hmm.
Every man knows coming after him that they will be your second choice at best.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that's going to attract a high caliber man with options?
Mm-hmm.
It might attract them, but I don't have a problem attracting men and dating.
You know
guys
what I mean?
For marriage
you think
purposes.
that's going to attract a high caliber husband
For marriage.
Right.
I've been having a hard time with that, so I'm being very doubtful right now.
Because you couldn't get it with your child's father. And as of today, you said you've been working on it. With whom?
Herself.
Your femininity. Who have you been working on it with?
Herself. Don't lie.
Well, myself, and I have a lot of guy friends who are
guy friends.
You can't work on it. You can't work on it with yourself. Position heal thyself. You can't, ma'am. You can't work on it by yourself. See, let me say something that's gonna make hurt a little bit. You have a habit of keeping your hand in your mouth.
I'm nervous. That's
okay. I'm just saying, that's just bringing it to your attention. These are things that an etiquette coach or feminine instructor would bring to your attention. It's not ladylike. It's like the chewing of the gum and things like that. You don't even know what to look for.
That's true.
So my point is, the first thing you said is I added value to myself by getting my money together, my degree together, when the smartest thing you could do for the outcome you want is to get your femininity together. That's what you should be investing tens of thousands of dollars into. Getting that together, because the path you're on right now is to having a degree, job by yourself, alone, single income.
With a dog and a son husband.
See, in our community, our women are quicker to run to college and then get upset that men don't value, and then call men shallow and patriarchal and toxic because we don't want a female man.
Yeah, female man, that's facts. I've met a lot of those.
You can't do it by yourself. And your male friends, are they heterosexual?
Yes. Yes.
Then they're not friends. Men and women can't truly be friends.
Who's that in the background? That didn't sound like no baby.
Who was that?
I'm sorry?
What was that?
In the background, oh, that's my little brother and my son talking. I'm sorry.
Okay. So my
he picked up on the same thing. I wanted to stop it there for a real second, because the truth of the matter is he makes a lot of sense in that discussion there. But also, I want to say it is definitely something that I know a lot of parental figures tell their daughters. They tell them this constantly. I remember in my day when I was a kid, I'm a little older than a lot of these women that come on the show. But in my day, the thing was, don't be serious with a guy. So that was the thing. They didn't really tell girls to go to college, even though college was what they told everyone to do back in my day. You know, now they don't really tell the boys as much to go to college. I'm not 100% sure even why that is. But there isn't a big push for the boys to go to college. But in my day, it was a push for everybody to go to college. But they did tell girls don't settle down. So that was a big problem in the Generation X. I guess that's what it's called. I just can't keep up with all these labels. But in my generation, they told the girls, Don't settle down. You're too young to settle down. And so girls didn't settle down. And depending on what guys they got with, that usually dictated the lifestyle that they were living. You know, if they got a good guy and they were doing something, they continued to do something. If they struggled with doing good and positive things and they met guys, then they struggled in life. And I had a girlfriend at the time, particularly. I was trying to do good things, but unfortunately, her parents, well, her mom told her, don't settle down with me. And not to say I was trying to get married to her or something like that, but definitely trying to build the future. And so she took her mother's advice, had this guy on the side, had that guy on the side, and stuff like that. And now we fast forward all these years later. She's never been married, has a bunch of kids, not by the same father. Some of them were not good fathers, not in the kid's life, and really not being all she could be. So, you know, it's interesting that they tell a lot of these young women not to focus on relationships. And I think it's important. And okay, if you want to say just don't run to the first person you meet, but man, it's got to be some focus on what the goal is going to be, whether you can be a wife, you know, something like that. It's got to be a focus on relationship with young people. You know, we got both men and women. We got to tell them to be mindful of what a relationship is. And I think that's where we failed. A lot of us as parents, we haven't sat down and told these girls about and boys about relationships.
Point is, femininity is best taught to women by other women.
Mm-hmm.
And our relationships are reflective. We attract what we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So if you're frustrated with the kind and caliber of man you're attracting, look in the mirror.
Change yourself.
Look in the mirror. Last question. Last few questions. Is that your natural hair?
Nope.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
You stupid.
Eyelashes?
No. Those are fake.
Stop that. Stop that. Doesn't do anything for you. Men today.
So I was wrong with the hair, apparently. So what if that's her real hair? I don't know what's going on with it, but
Especially the kind of men you're talking about are extremely yeah. There used to be a time where women would do all that stuff, glamour shots, and kind of like, it's sad to see so many women today who honestly look like drag queen level makeup. These big floppy eyelashes looking at me.
tarantulas.
Have you heard men say they like that?
I'm sorry?
Have you heard men say, ooh, I think that's sexy. I want a woman with that.
No, I've never heard that.
I've never.
Why do it?
For yourself?
Do the things that we say we want. That's really what you should focus on. What do the kind of men you want say they want, and do that? That's what any good seller of a product would do. You don't go to a vegetarian, bohemian, liberal, Zen side of town and try to open a steakhouse. And then lastly, you got to figure out what's going on with the kid and all that situation, but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be really difficult because that's just the reality, and you can't undo that. So, but it doesn't make, but here's the thing. I say all that because I don't want women like you to become bitter at men, thinking that something's wrong with men, and that's the trajectory. When you can't get the outcome, let's just say you may not be able to get the outcome you want. You can't blame men. You have to look at your choices. I chose to be a single mother. I chose to do these things. I chose not to get my femininity together, this, that, da, 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 da. So in the time when these choices were being made, you know, I can't do it. Just like that one young lady who's in the Olympics and she's going to get kicked out for smoking weed, right?
Sha'Carri Richardson.
Whether we think weed is right or wrong is irrelevant. She knew the rules.
Right.
And it doesn't matter what Michael Phelps did or whatever. She can say whatever she wants, but if the Olympics happen and she's not able to run, ultimately she can never say 100% that I was done wrong. She had a chance. You got a chance. Focus
Right.
on what the kind of men you want, not what you think we should get, because we are like women's looks and that, such and so forth. All right, have a good day, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, have a good one. Yeah, see.
So that was interesting. Of course, I'm gonna stop that video there because there's not much time left. But I just wanted to definitely say that was an interesting conversation there. She wasn't very combative, so it made for an easy talk, and not too much complaints about her. I would say in terms of what she had to say. I don't know how that's going to work out for her in terms of looking for a high value man. I don't know what she looks like at her best. She may look like a knockout or whatever, but she looked average in the video. And so average usually begets average. It's very rare that an average person gets an extraordinary person. That's very rare. And I don't know where she's going to get that from. So going back to education and finances and stability and stuff like that, I will say this: the more average the guy is, the more that comes into play, because he's gonna, a person with less finances in terms of high value would definitely need somebody that's going to offset his income. So then education and finances will come into play. So that's where we're going to see everything at. Not really in the high value, because the high value guy, he has the money. So he does it. A priority is not education, and definitely not those type of the education, job, career, things like that. It's going to be looks in the high value man. Because when you have, let's say, $1 million in your bank account and you go to buy a car, you're not like, oh, well, let me buy a cheap car. Let me buy a Kia or something like that. You're like, let me buy something nice, something fancy, something that rides well, has speed to it, things like that, horsepower, all the amenities in it. Those are the thoughts that go to your head. It's the same thing with a relationship. When the guy has money and finances, he's like, well, I got all this money, I got this status, let me go find somebody that I can bring to events, I'll be proud to have on my arm, and things like that. Now, depending on the person, he may want some education or some intelligence, but I digress. All right. You know what time it is. It's time for that braces. Relationship braces. Bringing hearts together, one heart at a time. 32-year-old woman with a 5-year-old son that was born to Jamaican parents with a stepfather. What could I tell you to find that happiness, that love, and that future, and possibly get married? Well, I said a lot before, but the truth of the matter is, got to be realistic. And I say this countless amount of times. You got to be realistic in what you're looking for. Can't pick the cream of the crop and expect he's just going to find you out of the blue. Is there a possibility that you can find somebody that you are interested in to be interested in you, meaning that have value lifestyle? Sure, absolutely. But you're going to have to work for that. In terms, not saying throw yourself or give a thirst trap, but you definitely got to be the best representative of yourself. And you'll have to work a little harder for that person. But if that doesn't happen, then you got to find a way to be realistic in what you can find in terms of relationship, and give the same kind of energy you would give to that high value man. Because if you don't, then you'll keep repeating this circle over and over again. And those are the braces. All right, folks. So once again, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate all you who have subscribed, viewed, and offered some productive comments or comments of support. With that being said, it is Jonathan St. James, and I am out from the Truth is Still Straight podcast.